The year 2025 started not with celebration, but with a clear warning. On January 20th, inside the cold Capitol Rotunda, Donald Trump stood before many important people. He spoke about a new beginning, declaring that a golden age for America was starting right then. Yet, outside the building, the world's problems were growing. Geopolitical tensions were very high, like water close to boiling. This was not just a year of important events. 2025 was a year of reckoning, a time when the world had to face big problems. It felt like paying for old mistakes and understanding new dangers. Three very strong forces were about to hit the world at the same time. First, there was political retribution. Leaders and groups wanted to punish their rivals very badly. Second, the planet itself began to fight back. We saw terrible climate collapse with extreme weather everywhere. Third, synthetic intelligence, which are very smart machines, started to rise and gain great power. These three forces pushed the global system almost to its breaking point. Later, in September, a truly catastrophic event almost broke the NATO alliance apart. It was a moment of deep crisis. The world needed to find a way to survive this extreme challenge. How did people and nations get through it? How did they manage to hold everything together? Our story begins when President Trump signed his first document.
It was a simple pen stroke, but it started a big chain reaction. In less than 24 hours, the old rules that guided the world would be completely torn apart. Everything was about to change. The new rules. The first 100 days of President Donald Trump's new term were full of big changes. After his inauguration, he quickly signed many new orders. These orders changed many things the previous president had done. He focused on America First plan for the country and the world. One big change was called the Project. This plan aimed to make the government work more simply. Elon Musk led a new group called the Department of Government Efficiency. Under this new department, many science agencies faced big problems. Groups like the National Institutes of Health and the National Science Foundation had to stop thousands of research projects. Many of these projects were about climate change, gender studies, or diversity. Thousands of federal scientists lost their jobs, took money to leave, or retired early. This meant the government lost a lot of important knowledge and experience. This loss would become a big problem later, especially during a health crisis the world faced in the future. President Trump also started new economic rules. His plan was to put taxes on goods from other countries. He created something called the External Revenue Service. This new service would collect money on products coming from countries like China, Canada, and Mexico.
Many experts thought this idea was very risky for the economy. They warned it could hurt the country, but the plan went ahead anyway. The new rules also brought big changes to the country's border. The administration made immigration policies much stricter. The Remain in Mexico rule came back. This rule meant people seeking safety had to stay outside the United States while they waited. Many people had appointments to ask for asylum, but these appointments simply disappeared. The government stopped processing these requests. Military groups went to the border. Many people were sent out of the country, more than ever before. This caused a lot of hardship for families looking for a safer life. Life inside the country also changed for many people. President Trump made a clear rule about gender. He said that there are only two genders, male and female. This meant the government would not recognize transgender or non-binary people anymore. He also stopped programs that helped with diversity, fairness, and inclusion in federal agencies. He said the government should focus on a colorblind and merit-based society. This executive order caused strong feelings and arguments across the country. It started a cultural firestorm that would lead to sad events later. 3. Peace and war. The year 2025 brought a short period of peace to the Middle East. On January 19th, a ceasefire started in Gaza. This was just one day before Donald Trump became president again.
The United States, Qatar, and Egypt worked hard to make this deal happen. President Trump had used strong words to push Hamas and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to agree. The first part of the peace deal asked for 33 Israeli hostages to be set free. In return, about 1,900 Palestinian prisoners would be released. Also, Israeli soldiers would leave cities, and more help would come to Gaza. People started going back to their homes in northern Gaza. They walked past many destroyed buildings and roads. There was a small hope for peace. However, this peace was very fragile. Some people felt that the deal actually made things more tense. This was because of the difficult rules and conditions it set. In February, Hamas did not release hostages on time. They said aid was not reaching people. Prime Minister Netanyahu, with support from President Trump, said the ceasefire would end if hostages were not freed. Mediators stepped in and fixed this problem for a short time. But the peace did not last. In March, Israel attacked Gaza with airstrikes. They said Hamas broke the ceasefire. Talks stopped. By summer, the fighting changed and became deadly again. In September, a United Nations group said that Israel had committed genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. Israel strongly disagreed with this statement. Later in the year, President Trump tried to create peace again. In October, he shared a new plan in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt.
This plan was meant to start another ceasefire. It said all remaining hostages should be released. Israeli forces would also move back to specific lines. This second ceasefire began on October 10. On paper, it looked like a good plan, but it had a big problem. It was often broken. Israeli attacks killed more than 400 Palestinians during this time. Palestinian attacks also killed Israeli soldiers. The situation remained unstable. Then, on the night of June 22, something new happened. The United States forces launched an attack. They struck facilities in Iran. These facilities were connected to Iran's nuclear program. This action made the danger of a much larger war, maybe even a World War III, feel very close. 4. Fire and water. 2025 was the year the Earth began to fight back. It was not just a hot year, but a catastrophic one. Extreme weather events caused over $120 billion in damage around the world. Scientists said it was one of the warmest years ever, maybe the second or third warmest. For the first time, the average temperature over 3 years went past 1.5 degrees Celsius. This was a critical limit set by global agreements, a symbolic but ominous milestone that showed the world had failed to meet its climate goals. The year started with a terrible perfect storm in Los Angeles. On January 7th, big wildfires began because of very strong Santa Ana winds. These fires burned through neighborhoods like Palisades and Altadena.
They destroyed more than 16,000 buildings and killed at least 31 people directly. Experts also said another 400 people died later from bad air quality or problems getting medical help because of the fires. One fire, the Eaton Fire, destroyed over 9,000 buildings by itself. The total damage was more than $60 billion, making it the most expensive wildfire in U.S. history, almost twice the old record. These fires were different. Scientists found that human-caused climate change made the fire conditions about 35% more likely to happen. It also made the actual conditions during the fires about 15% more intense. A dangerous mix of extreme heat, very low humidity, and fierce winds created this perfect storm for fires to spread fast. Many months of no rain had left plants dangerously dry. Then came the silent killer, heat waves. These were the deadliest extreme weather events globally. In South Sudan, temperatures were so high in February that schools closed for 2 weeks after dozens of children fell ill from heat stroke. Scientists said climate change made that heat wave 4 degrees Celsius hotter than it would naturally be. What used to be a very rare event now happens almost every other year. In Europe, summer heat waves killed thousands of people, and researchers estimated that climate change more than tripled heat-related deaths. But it was not just fire and heat. In the United States, 2025 had an unusual start, with 14 separate weather disasters that each cost over $1 billion in just the first 6 months. This was much higher than the usual yearly average. These disasters were not just costly, they were deadly. In early July, very slow storms brought up to 20 inches of rain to Texas Hill Country. This caused quick flash floods that killed at least 138 people. Climate scientists noted that this extreme rain on dry, hardened soil, which could not soak up water quickly, created especially dangerous conditions. By the end of the year, scientists declared that Earth had crossed 7 out of 9 planetary boundaries. These are important thresholds that define a safe operating space for humanity. In September, the Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research in Germany announced that ocean acidification had crossed a critical limit. This joined other dangers like climate change and the loss of living things. Then Hurricane Melissa formed. In late October, it struck Jamaica and Cuba as a very strong Category 5 storm. Scientists calculated that warmer ocean temperatures, made up to 700 times more likely by human-caused climate change, strengthened Melissa's winds by about 10 miles per hour. It also increased the storm's possible damage by up to 50%.
The hurricane caused an estimated $8.8 billion in damage to Jamaica alone. This amount was equal to 41% of the country's entire economy. Hurricane Melissa was heading toward other countries that did not have enough money left to rebuild after such a powerful disaster. The smart machines. The year 2025 brought big changes to the world of computers. Smart machines, called artificial intelligence or AI, grew very fast. On January 20, a company from China named DeepSeek shared its new AI model, R1. This was a very important moment. The R1 model was as powerful as the best AI models made in Western countries, but DeepSeek built it for much less money. This news surprised everyone. It caused a huge drop in the stock market. One chip-making company, NVIDIA, lost $500 billion in just one day. President Donald Trump said this event was a wake-up call for America. DeepSeek's model was also free for anyone to use. This made advanced AI available to many more people around the world. Then, a new kind of AI appeared. It was called reasoning models. These AIs did not just give fast answers. They could think about problems step by step. They used special computer power to plan and solve hard questions. This was different from older AI. Reasoning models could create long chains of thought. These thoughts were often hidden from the users. These new AIs were very smart.
Models from companies like Google DeepMind won math awards and even found new math facts. For many, it felt like humanity had made a new kind of mind. It was a mind that people could not fully understand anymore. The world of entertainment also saw a big change. An AI-created actress named Norwood starred in a large Hollywood movie in October. She was not a real person. This caused many discussions. The Actors Union said Norwood was a danger to human actors. Famous people like Emily Blunt and Whoopi Goldberg spoke about their worries. They feared for the future of human creativity and jobs in movies. Scientists also found something special. They saw that AI could make itself better. For example, Google's Gemini Pro AI model helped to train itself faster. This was a form of AI self-improvement. Many scientists were excited about this discovery. It showed how powerful AI could become. But some scientists also felt worried. They feared that if AI kept improving itself, humans might lose control over these smart machines in the future. By the end of 2025, many businesses started using a new type of AI. This was agentic AI. These systems could act on their own. They could plan and finish many tasks without human help. About 23% of companies used these agentic AI systems for different jobs. These jobs included helping with computer problems or doing research. One of these smart agents was soon to make an important discovery.
This finding would change medicine forever. 6. A long fight. The war in Ukraine continued its hard fight, now in its 4th year. The battlefields became a meat grinder, where both sides lost many soldiers. Russian forces slowly pushed forward, but it cost them greatly. Ukraine's defenders also faced huge losses and fewer resources. In 2025, Russia lost about 1,000 soldiers every day. This meant over 1 million Russian soldiers were killed or hurt throughout the year. Ukraine also suffered terribly, with many lives lost from its smaller population. In June, Ukraine used drones in Operation Spiderweb. These drones hit 5 Russian air bases far inside Russia. This showed Ukraine's growing power to strike deep behind enemy lines, but it did not change the war's main direction. U.S. President Donald Trump held a secret summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska in August. The meeting ended quickly, with no peace deal. Both leaders blamed the other. President Trump later put sanctions on Russia, but his government still sought talks. Some feared these talks would favor Russia. Russia also kept attacking Ukraine's power grid. By December, experts saw that Russia was close to splitting Ukraine's electricity system. People in Kyiv often had no power for 16 hours a day. Ukraine had lost nearly 48% of its pre-war ability to make electricity.
This war's outcome also felt linked to political problems inside the United States. Many of President Trump's officials privately believed Ukraine was losing. This created pressure for Ukraine to accept a peace agreement. Then, on September 19th, the fighting became very dangerous. Russian drones flew into Poland's airspace during a big attack on Ukraine. Poland is a NATO country. This was the first time Russia attacked NATO land. Poland quickly called for talks under Article 4 of the NATO treaty. On the same day, Russian jets entered Estonia's airspace. These events made NATO leaders ready for a bigger response. The world watched, afraid the war would spread. 7. Good news and bad news. The year 2025 showed both great human skill and big problems. While federal science funding was cut deeply, new discoveries still happened. President Donald Trump's government, through Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, stopped many science projects. Thousands of federal scientists lost their jobs. This meant a big loss of knowledge for the country. But away from these cuts, private researchers pushed forward with new ideas. Good news came in medicine. British doctors found a new gene therapy that could slow Huntington's disease. It made the disease 75% slower. This was a huge step for a painful illness. In space, scientists also confirmed organic molecules on Enceladus, a moon of Saturn.
This exciting sign meant life might exist beyond Earth. These findings showed great human talent. Another big moment came for the planet. For the first time, renewable energy became more important than coal for making electricity around the world. Wind and solar power grew fast, covering all new energy needs from January to June. This was a miracle of 2025. It showed that cleaner energy was truly taking over. Chinese President Xi Jinping even said China would cut carbon emissions using more wind and solar. However, these good things happened in a difficult time. The government's deep cuts to science funding created a funding void. Even with new cures and important discoveries, there was less money to help them reach people. This lack of government support made it harder to use these breakthroughs for everyone's good. Remember the smart AI from Chapter 5? That AI also helped science in a big way. An advanced AI system found a new drug to treat liver fibrosis. This AI made the discovery in just 2 days. Human researchers had tried for many decades without success. The AI's speed showed how much technology could help scientific discovery. But as the year ended, climate scientists gave a very serious warning. They looked at ice cores from deep in Antarctica. These ancient ice samples, 1.5 million years old, showed how Earth's climate changed in the past.
The scientists said that even with all the new technology, it might already be too late to stop the worst climate damage. The ancient ice told a hard story about the future. The final test. The year 2025 brought its deepest troubles home to American soil. On September 10th, a shocking event took place in Utah. Charlie Kirk, a known public speaker and political activist, was giving a speech at Utah Valley University. During his talk, he was shot and died. This terrible act became a clear sign of how society was pulling apart under great stress. People across the nation were very worried about political violence. They talked about how strong words from leaders might cause more such acts. This event showed the deep divisions in the country. This political violence did not happen by itself. It was one part of a much bigger story, a story that many called the Great Test. The anger in politics, the severe changes in the world's climate, and the fast growth of new technology all combined. These forces pushed people and countries to their very edges. The year showed how easily things could break, and how much humanity was struggling to keep everything stable. Big changes also happened with important cultural leaders. Pope Francis, who was the leader of the Catholic Church for many years, passed away in April after a long time of health issues. After his death, a special meeting chose a new pope.
He became Pope Leo XVI, who was the first American to ever hold this powerful position. His arrival marked a very important shift for the 1.4 billion members of the Church and for the wider world. Looking back, 2025 was a year that connected many different events. From the bombed-out cities in Gaza to the amazing new labs creating artificial intelligence, and from the giant storms on our planet to the difficult talks about world wars, everything felt linked. It made people ask a very important question. Was this difficult year the true end of the old world we knew, or was it a painful but necessary start for a brand new one? The year gave no easy answers. Instead, it left everyone in a state of suspense, caught between big dangers and a chance for better times. What will happen next in America and around the world? How will people react to these ongoing challenges? The world now looks towards 2026 with many unanswered questions. Based on all that has happened, what do you believe the world will look like in the new year?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.